So far in this paper of Specimen 2025-9626, the first question we have completed, it's regarding the computer animation, that how it makes a time lapse. I have discussed with you that it creates a drawing, it creates object, then we have a capture devices. Then along with those capture devices, they are digitized at each stage. Then software is used to create animation when they are going to combine all of them and put together. Uh, we have two objects when it comes to computer animation, and the B part says that why secondary components are important. So I have read in this that we usually use these secondary components to bring our objects to life, or if I want to enhance my animation, if I want to improve my quality, or if I want to add the more detail, more focus, or if I want to add more efficiency into my scene. The second part of the question says that describe the positive impact of video conferencing on learners. So, when it comes to learners, I can definitely say that these are home based, like learners who are home based that are caused due to some sort of illness or lives far away from the schools. They have the access of that. Learners can even connect with other learners in a variety of locations or in different places as well. And this is for 6 marks, right? So learners can see and hear people in different classrooms as well. They can collaborate on their projects. They video conferencing basically gives learners a more choice about what they wanted to do with the learners, and even learners can even go on to the virtual trips as well. Like they don't have to go into the dangerous places. All of this can be done virtually, and when we will be working with the online video conferencing, that is going to save their time. So they can invest that time into other activities as well. You need to write here 6 marks. Then the question number three was DFD diagrams that I replied here regarding their symbols. And this question was interesting. This had that described how the flow of data was represented. So I have simply written that we can do that by writing straight lines, arrows, or by showing incoming and outgoing traffic. The C part says that about the zero level diagram. We have discussed that the zero level diagram is regarding the which shows you an overall view which so that you can make an analysis. And the CMYK system, the last question that we completed, not the last one, the fourth one, CMYK, you all know that it consists of 4 colors. It is used to create other colors as well. And all CMYK colors produces gray, and no CMYK color is white. That means that wherever I'm going to turn on the value, this is never going to be white, and RGB colors are also converted to them. CMYK are basically 4 colors. We add or subtract different colors to create other colors. The amount of intensity of each color can vary from one to other. CMYK also uses, ink, that is ink, a liquid ink to produce on the paper. So you can write here some properties of that. And in the sixth question, it is about the virtual reality, that why VR is used in the training of doctors. So in the first part, I have written with perspective to the training of the doctors, like we want to use VR so that we can model situations while not putting the patient at a risk. And if the newly trained or newly hired doctor wants to learn a new skill, or it can be used when the situations are rare to give a broader range of experience, or it can be used to reduce organizational requirements as well. It allowed doctors to examine the 3D models of patients' anatomy. It allow help trainee doctors to learn and practice the skills as well. I have written here 4 points, and then the B part was that why virtual reality is used in the treatment of patients. So now I also need to include one example, and I need to refer it to the treatment of the patient. So the first one I have said that it is used to allow medical professionals to show patients information about their condition, that they can help them visualize that how their treatment or how their condition is going to work. They can even be used to reduce the pressure on our staff and availability as well. Like situations can be tailored from one to other to meet the medical requirements. And when it comes to medical and patients, there could be a huge number of scenarios, so they can be tailored in terms of virtual reality. It can also, I can also write here that it can also assist patients to adapt to prosthetics Or I can also write that it also helps in rehabilitation or physical therapy. So I'm telling you more points so that you should know that how you are writing or how you are delivering in your exam. Now let's move on to the next question. The next question is about that describe how information technology is used to monitor individuals to prevent the crime. How IT is used to monitor individuals to prevent the crime. This is for 6 marks. So first of all, I can say that I can use video cameras to watch public spaces for criminals or unwanted terrorists as well. I can use the facial recognition software to identify tracks and movement of individuals. And I can also write that I can use voice recognition software to identify individuals on a conversation, and either if the conversation is recorded or live. One, two, three, and I can also use the interception of telephone and internet communications between individuals. I can also use monitoring softwares to determine individual activities or to track their individual habits. I can also contain the analysis of social media activities to track individuals such as their location, their interest, all of them. And I can also rightly use here data mining as well. And how I can use data mining, can be using data mining to look for trends in larger set of data to help identify the criminals. So that's it. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I have written here 7 points, more than enough for this. You just need to write six. The next question is for 8 marks. Evaluate the use of cloud computing by banks. So I will need to write here for 8 marks. So I need to evaluate the use for cloud computing. So first of all, reduction in the need for paying for new softwares. That means that you don't need to pay for new softwares. You don't need to purchase them. There is a price reduction, and you don't not even need to spend on the updated hardware. It can reduce costs that will ultimately make more profit for shareholders. Since there is a reduction in the need of paying for the software, at the same time, there is the reduction in the need for ownership, ownership of hardware, software, or IT services as well. That means that now the banks can select on their own the services they want. They don't have to primarily depend on any software or a computer or an IT person. One more important point is that can be banks are no longer will be responsible for managing the IT infrastructure because most of that will be done by the company itself. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 3 points more. Banks will not be needing expensive IT personnel or individuals. It reduces your staff cost. I can also say that banks' data will be more protected. Customers are supplied with quicker service as well. And there is certainly reduction in energy usage as well. How is that? By banks. Because services are transferred to third party, which means that they are now managing them. I can also write here that it is more environment friendly as well. So that's it for this question. More than 8 points. You just need to write 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 points I have written here. Now question number 8. Question number 8 says that discuss advantages and disadvantages of using fiber optics cable instead of copper cable to carry internet service to the customers. So I need to write here advantages and disadvantages of using fiber optics instead of a copper cable. So there can be 4 marks for your advantages and 4 marks could be for your disadvantages. First of all, let's write some of the advantages. Advantages can be fiber optics. Fiber optics cabling provides higher capacity than copper cables. They also provides a higher bandwidth Then copper cables, bandwidth is the amount of data that can be transferred and received. They also provides capability to carry signals or connections over a large distance. One, two, three, and the fourth point, I can say that fiber optics is made up of glass. And what is the advantage of that? Since it is made up of glass, therefore it is more resistant to corrosion and water. So these are the 4 points for your fiber optics. Now let's work on the disadvantages. So the first example can certainly be that it is definitely can be more expensive, and it requires more transmitters, receivers. So definitely a cost is increased, and it cannot carry electrical power. So additional cabling will be required to power it up. One, two, three, or I can also say that it is quite difficult to repair or rejoin, because this is a fiber optic. It is made up of glass. These are not common cables. The next question is that analyze the privacy concerns of individual caused by data mining. This is for 6 marks. Analyze the privacy concerns of individuals. Now, when it comes about individuals, that means that we are most likely talking about your individuals that have privacy concerns related to your data mining. So this is for 6 marks. So I need to write in terms of individuals. So first of all, what can be the privacy concerns of individuals by data mining? I can say that individuals do not have control over their private data. So definitely, if they do not have any control, that means they also cannot give the consent to use it for your distribution or sharing as well. Individuals who do not have control over their private data, they cannot inform or give consent about its distribution, or either you can say sharing. The second part is that your stored data can be accessed and mined without the consent of your individuals. and also that many organizations and businesses do not make customers aware of their data being used in data mining. I can also say this. So one, two, three, and I can through data mining, this data can also data may be sold to other organizations as well without the consent of individuals. One, two, three, four. The fifth point, anonymous data. Anonymity of individual data cannot be guaranteed. This means that the data can never be trusted, that if it is from the uh, trusted source or not. And yes, if it's anonymous data, that means that your data integrity can be compromised, which leaves you duplicated data, or you can also write redundant data as well. Data integrity is that how accurate your data is. So that's it. Now, question number 10. JavaScript statements are made up of a number of components. Explain how each of the components are used in a JavaScript statement. Keywords. Keywords for 3 marks. In JavaScript, how do we utilize keywords? We utilize them because having a specific function that is already defined, and we don't need to write new code each time. Because if you remember, as we are working on with task number 4, we were defining that. And when I want to call that, I just can call it by the name. I don't need to write it again and again. What can be the second point? It cannot be used as your names, identifiers, because they are already reserved, because they are reserved for use. They should must be written in lowercase. They should must be written in lowercase. Otherwise, it will not work. And they should must be having a correct syntax. So that's it. 4 points for 3 marks. You can write only 3 points. I have added one extra. The B part says that comments. Why do I need comments? So I can write comments with double slash. And double slash means that uh, to have a single line comment means that everything after this is going to be ignored. But certainly if it is used with this slash and asterisk sign and ends with this slash and star, this means that I have a multi-line comment. So everything that is stated in between this is going to be ignored. It works like, for example, if you have this slash, so whatever you are going to write here, this is certainly going to be ignored, and this is only a part of your program. It is implemented so that your programmer would know that what that which is why you are writing, if either this function or procedure, or if you are guiding throughout. But certainly if you use a multi-line code, so until you close it down like this, so everything that comes in between this is ignored. So you can also mention this in your answer right here, that anything that comes after that is going to be ignored, and anything that is going to come in between this is going to be ignored in your comments. Your comments can also be used to insert lines and gaps to make your code readable, and it can also be used to explain the purpose of your code, to make it like easier to understand, such as their data flow and all of that. In the initiation stage of a project, two of the tasks are to identify the objectives of the project and to scope of the project. Describe the two tasks that must be done during this stage. In the initiation stage of a project, two of the tasks are to identify the objectives of the project and the scope of the project. So in the initiation stage, when I began the development of the program, the first one was to identify objects of the program. The second was to understand the scope. Describe the two other tasks that must be done during this stage. So two tasks can be like, for example, carry out a stakeholder analysis, or identify the stakeholders who need to approve the project. Other tasks can be by analyzing or determining the resources required. I can also create a list of resources required for the project. So there can be a number of answers, and in the initiation stage, I can break the answer down like into four categories. So that's it for 4 marks, but just for further information, I'm discussing with you that you can break it down into stakeholders. Like for example, I have written out here, carry out a stakeholder analysis, identify the stakeholders who need, or I can either write that I can divide the stakeholders into groups. I can interview them. I would know that what they want for the program. I can also break it down in terms of resources, and I can definitely write that I can analyze, I can determine the resources that are required. I can run a feasibility study. I should be creating out a list of that. I can also calculate the ROI, return on investment, that the resources that I'm adding, are they giving me the proper return on that or not? I can also write here regarding the high level plans, like a high level plans, like schedule, like tasks that needs to be completed, their order of completion, their major milestone, their deadlines. I can also write with perspective to the team as well. I can assign the team the task. I can organize the structure as well. I can correct and organize resources as well. Then I have the last question for this, finally, that is question number 12, that says that mail merge is used by project managers to create emails and documents to send the members of the project team. Explain why mail merge is used when creating these emails and documents. So why do I use them? That's quite easy. That's only for 2 marks. I use them to customize emails and documents for team members, so that they show individual team member names I can also write is that it saves my time compared to creating individual emails or documenting them. I can write more points, like I can even personalize them, customize them. I can change the contents wherever I wish, like, so there can be most points for that. So this is done for our specimen 2025 paper. Finally,